Summer Olympic and Paralympic Games. They won medals, shattered records, broke new ground, and used their voices to speak up for what mattered to them. And every one of them was once a kid who had a dream and dared to follow it. Part 1. Racing Ahead. Battling prejudice, overcoming obstacles, and challenging unfair laws, these track stars defied expectations and became the fastest athletes in the world. Jesse Owens. Fighting the Wind. One of the greatest athletes of all time, Jesse Owens made headlines around the world when he won 4 gold medals in track and field events at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. If it wasn't for a teacher's mistake, the name in those headlines would have been a different one. Jesse Owens was born in the small town of Oakville, Alabama in 1913. His full name was James Cleveland Owens, and he was the youngest of the 10 children in his family. His parents, Henry and Mary Emma, were sharecroppers, farming land they rented from white landowners, whom they paid with a share of the crops. Their home was tiny, with no electricity or heating, and they had barely enough money for basic necessities like clothing. The early 1900s were a difficult time for Black people in the American South. Racism was widespread and racial discrimination was enforced by the government. Under a system known as segregation, Black people were kept apart from white people in shops and theaters and made to use separate restrooms and drinking fountains. They had little access to education, few opportunities for employment, and poor medical care. James, or JC as he was usually called, was small for his age and often got sick with fevers and coughs. One of his earliest memories was when he was 5 and noticed a growth on his chest. Unable to afford a doctor, his mother operated on him and removed it herself. But despite his bad health, the family's poverty, and the racism that surrounded them, JC's early childhood was mostly happy. JC swam and fished in a pond and went possum hunting with his brothers and their dogs, often staying out beside a campfire until sunrise. Religion was important to JC's parents, who were devout Baptists. JC's father, Henry, was a deacon at the Oakville Missionary Baptist Church, just up the street from where the Owens family lived, and JC's mother, Mary Emma, made JC and his siblings learn a different Bible verse every week. The Oakville Missionary Baptist Church was a small, shabby building that doubled as a school for the local Black children. If the school was open, JC could attend classes, but education took second place to farming. And during his early school years, JC barely learned to read and write. "We could only go to school when there wasn't anything else going on," he explained. JC spent most of his time outdoors. In addition to their work farming in the fields, his family grew corn, beans, squash, tomatoes, and onions in their garden, and JC and the other children often picked fruit from nearby orchards. Much of the time, JC was free to play with other kids who lived nearby. He enjoyed keep-away, tag, and hide-and-seek. In fact, he enjoyed any game that involved running. "I always loved running," he said. "I loved it because it was something you could do all by yourself, all under your own power. You could go in any direction, fast or slow as you wanted, fighting the wind if you felt like it, seeking out new sights just on the strength of your feet and the courage of your lungs." When JC was 9 years old, his family moved north. This was part of a larger movement of people known as the Great Migration. Large numbers of Black people fled the poverty, racism, and violence in the South and moved to the North, settling in the country's largest cities in hopes of greater freedom, more economic opportunities, and better lives for their families. JC's older sister, Lily, was the first in his family to go, traveling to Cleveland, Ohio. JC's father and 2 of his brothers soon followed. Meanwhile, back in Alabama, Mary Emma sold the family's possessions and bought train tickets for the rest of the family. When JC asked his mother where the train was going, she told him it was taking them